Good morning. We're doing something a little bit different this year with our congregational meeting. We're going to do a state of the church through video. One of the reasons we wanted to do this is because here we are late in the summer, school hadn't started back yet, a lot of people are taking a last vacation, and normally we have the meeting at the end of the second service, so a lot of people can't make it. But this way we can put these videos in the middle of the service and then post them up on the website so that a lot of people can see it. So that's why we wanted to do it a little bit different this year. One of the biggest questions that I get from many of you is to us as the elders, what do you guys do at your meetings? So I wanted to answer that question and kind of use that question to frame what we do and also where we're going as a church. We usually meet once a month. It's usually the last Sunday of every month up here at the church. The first thing that we do is pray through the strategic prayer booklet. We start with prayer. I don't know how many of you have ever been in one of these Christian meetings where the business will go on, and finally after a couple hours you'll get to the end and somebody will say, well, you know what, maybe we should pray, right? Well, we decided to take a different approach with that. We said we're going to start by praying right off the bat, the first thing that we do. So we take the strategic prayer booklet, which you can get out in the kiosk in the front. We take that booklet and we pray through it. We may spend 20 or 30 minutes praying through that booklet, and that's the first thing we do because we don't want prayer to be the last thing that we do. The second thing we do, even before we get to business, is we do a study together. And this last year, we've been doing a book study on a book called Building a Healthy Multi-Ethnic Church. We are really concerned about seeing a healthy, multi-ethnic, multicultural church right here at Valley View Christian Church. Back in 1960, Martin Luther King Jr. was interviewed on a television show, and he said that 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday mornings is the most segregated time in America. Now here we are almost 60 years later, and that's still pretty much the truth. We don't want it to be that way. We don't want it to continue that way, and certainly not here at Valley View Christian Church. Another interesting thing about our area, some of you may know this as well, there are over 270 different languages spoken in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. Within a few miles of Valley View, some people think as many as 100 different languages are spoken. So there's an opportunity here to reach out across ethnicities, across cultures, and that's what we want to do. We don't want to wait another 60 years to see multi-ethnic churches built in this area. In Revelation chapter 7, verse 9, John has a vision of what heaven is like. And in that vision, he sees so many different people. People from every nation, every tribe, every people group, and every language. We don't want to have to wait and see it all in heaven. We want to see that here. We want to see that exist here at Valley View Christian Church right now. So that's what we've been studying, that book, and we just finished it last month. Next month, we're going to take up another book. We're going to start a series on leadership. What does it mean to be a leader and an elder at Valley View Christian Church? Then after we do our book study, we go into the business of the church, and that'll vary each month. Most of the time it centers around the financial status, and we're looking at where we are. We may talk about something that's broken down at the church, like an HVAC system, or we'll talk about the different ministries and how we can impact the communities. And finally, we pray again. We pray for you. We take the prayer requests that have come into the office and that are put in the offering plate, and we go through those. And we take other prayer requests that we know about. So I would say, please keep sending us your prayer requests. Please let us know what to pray for, because we pray for you regularly. We take that list every month. We pray for you at the end of each of our meetings, and then we go home and pray for you during the weeks. In addition to our regular monthly meetings, we have 2 retreats every year. We have one in the spring and we have one in the fall. The one in the spring is mostly a business meeting, but the one in the fall is sort of a combination of a business meeting with spiritual formation. And we do something really different in the fall. We bring our wives with us. Our wives are integral parts of what we're doing here at Valley View, and we want to include them in many of the discussions that we have. Let me finish up with 2 points about our long-term strategy here. First one, prayer is still our strategy. We're still praying through the strategic prayer requests. We still hope you will pray through the strategic prayer requests too. And we're still praying for one. Don't forget to pray for one person, to write that person's name on the wall as you enter the sanctuary. And please do this for us too, that if you have a person or if you know of somebody who has come to Christ, who's on that wall, take their name off. That'll make some room for other names, and let us know that you took their name off, because we want to know about your successes too. The second big theme that we're talking about this year, and you already know about it, is leading others. We have a lot of ideas for ministry around here, not only within the church, but reaching outside the church too. And we get a lot of really good ideas from you who are out there in the congregation who come to us and say, hey, have you thought about this? And they're all really good ideas. One of the things that we've noticed is we've got a lot of great workers. It seems fairly easy to get a lot of people to come out for things and be involved in things and really chip in and want to be involved. But what we need more than anything else to get some of these ministries kicked off are leaders. We need people who will come out and stand up and say, hey, here I am. I'll come forward and I'll help lead this ministry. We need people who will step up, who are passionate about certain ministries and are willing to come forward and say, I'll lead. I think that's one of the biggest things that we have around here. We have got a fantastic staff, but they're really stretched thin and they can't do everything. We need people from the congregation. We need you folks to step up and say that I'll lead. One of the best ways to grow a church, one of the best ways to reach out and have a positive impact among the community that's around us is for leaders to rise up within the church, to take a passionate ownership of ministry and mobilize people under them. So I would urge you that if you've got an idea, if you've got something that you're really passionate about, let us know. And especially if you're willing to lead that and you're willing to lead that ministry. Jeff is going to come up next with a video giving you an update on our financial situation. And then all of the elders are going to be back in the next room after the service to talk to you, to answer any questions, to hear your prayer requests, to pray with you, whatever you need. Please come back to the next room, see us, and spend some time talking with us. Thanks a lot for your attention. We really love you. We really appreciate you.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Seeley. I'm one of the elders here at Valley View Christian Church, and I want to talk to you today a little bit about our finances. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is our Beyond campaign. It was a $1.5 million campaign that we're trying to get paid down, and the good news is, as you'll see by the chart, is that we've already effectively paid down 42% of that total amount. We had $1.3 million in debt. Plus, we had projected another $200,000 in some very needed roof repairs. It looks like we're going to be able to get the insurance company to pay for those roof repairs, so there's $200,000 already off of that amount. We have received from the congregation over $430,000 against the campaign. That takes it down to the 42%. Of that, $350,000 we've already paid down to the bank, and there's another $82,000 that we've got in the bank waiting to make our next payment. That leaves us with about $867,000 yet to pay down, but we've had a great start, and I want to thank you for that. The next thing I want to go over is our current financial statement. And you'll see in the graph here in a minute that we've had some good news and some bad news. So last year we had a budget of about $1.4 million. The bad news is that we didn't quite get there. The good news is the staff adjusted for that, and we only spent $1.2 million. Unfortunately, we didn't receive that much money. We received about $1.15 million. And so as you can see from this graph, we're about $74,000 in the hole. Now, that doesn't mean we're in trouble or anything else. We've got plenty of money in the bank. This kind of stuff happens all the time. It's budget against actual. But we did need to show you, to be transparent, that this is what's happened. So now I want to talk about this year's budget. We start with the mission, the programs. We go through the Love Dallas, Live Free, Lead Others, and that is what it's all about. And we develop a budget based on those kind of things, and then we figure out if we're close enough to the income, and that's how we figure out how we're going to do a budget. The last slide I'm going to show you is that is as a comparison of this year general fund to our budget for next year. So as you can see, we've increased a few things. The staff again went through and they just scrubbed the budget and they really gave us a good number. And we're asking the congregation to give us a 6.4% increase over giving last year. Now, if you look at that in total, we got over $1.6 million from the congregation, but we're kind of asking you to make sure that you're looking at the general fund while we're continuing to do all this great stuff with Beyond. Most everybody has seen the movie Blind Side, and in that movie, the lead is a lady named Leanne Tui, and she said the first money that a team always spends is on the quarterback, because that's the guy that's driving you forward. That's the guy that really brings the team together. But she says immediately thereafter, the next thing you do is spend money on the left tackle, and the left tackle is the guy that is guarding that quarterback that you spent all that money on. Well, I kind of like to relate where we are. Our Beyond campaign is that quarterback. It's the flash. It's that stuff that's really getting us to where we need to go. But we need to remember that we do have a left tackle, and we've got that insurance policy that we have to guard. And so next year, we're going to try and create some programs and some literature that lets you know if we're behind budget, and if you see we're behind budget, help us catch that budget up. Thank you so much.